Welcome to another pocket-emptying episode of Monday Movie Pickup. Alright, I think I said last week I wasn't going to be back with anything new, but actually I ended up going to the half-price bookstore. I got a couple other things, so I didn't expect that to happen. And plus, a couple other shipments I did through Amazon I kind of forgot about were actually sent. So I'm going to go through some of that really quickly now, but I do want to start out with here, The English Patient, which of course won Best Picture in 1997, and you know, I haven't ever really heard much about this one. I don't know if this is a controversial winner. It's from Miramax, so I'm guessing this was around that time where, you know, the Weinstein Company, the Weinsteins themselves, were really pushing to get every one of their movies to win Best Picture awards. So in a way, I don't know if a lot of these winners are looked fondly upon nowadays just because of what happened to the Weinsteins, and you know, and the fact that those tactics in general, you know, regardless of all the other controversies, those tactics are really looked down upon nowadays, and a lot of people feel that the award was, you know, forever tainted because of that. But otherwise, I do hear people say that, you know, in response to that, The English Patient is actually an underrated movie nowadays. So I guess I don't know what to expect. Jersey Girl. So I always have liked this movie. Kevin Smith sort of looks down upon it nowadays online, and, you know, I think a lot of people consider it to be a lesser Kevin Smith movie, you know, the beginning of his so-called downfall. I don't know if I agree with any of that anyway, or that entire notion. I do actually enjoy Jersey Girl. I think it's an underrated Kevin Smith movie, but unfortunately the movie has been out of print for a long time. Yet again, another Miramax movie. Whole issue out there about Miramax and their movies getting on Blu-ray, a lot of them out of print, but luckily Paramount did this disc. It's a DVD-R disc, so unfortunately the special features aren't there, but it's much more cost effective to get this movie, to actually get the film on some form of home media, rather than trying to chase down that Blu-ray, which is going for way too high of amounts. It's not at Dogma levels, but it's still way higher than it should be. Another Abbott and Costello film. I've been working on this collection for a while. This is from Classic Films. The Noose Hangs High. I know nothing about the movie, but Abbott and Costello, I've been trying to complete that collection. I'm very close. I forgot the title of the other one, but there is another one from Classic Films that's available that I have not purchased yet. I already own Africa Screams, and recently their Kickstarter to do a brand new remaster of Jack and the Beanstalk was completed, so I actually have that movie pre-ordered. It will be sent here very soon. And as for this movie, it's actually going out of print on the website right now, so they're selling what's left of that stock. So if you haven't gotten this movie yet, you're an Abbott and Costello fan, this is the time to get it. Go on to some VHS upgrades. Here's Hometown Legend. This is a VHS I owned that actually my friend gave me after their family was getting rid of a bunch of VHS tapes, and he said it's a great football movie. I still have never seen it, but I saw that the DVD was extremely cheap on Amazon, so I finally bought it just to upgrade that VHS that was already given to me for free. I don't know anything about it except that, you know, Terry O'Quinn, this was before Lost even happened, so I don't know what to expect with this one. I have here Hello Dolly, which I've had on VHS for way too long, and finally have the Blu-ray. It's kind of interesting that this comes from 20th Century Fox, and, you know, most people probably know about this movie nowadays from WALL-E, which is owned by Disney, and now Disney actually owns this movie. So I have to always think of all those times in the past Disney had to get the rights to something for whatever reason. You know, like how they also had to make the deal to have the Avatar films turned into rides in Animal Kingdom. And now they own 20th Century Fox, and now they just own Avatar. So I always think about, like, how much extra money have they spent to get the rights to movies or film footage or different franchises that, in the end, they just own now. I don't know how that all works, but... And another VHS upgrade, this is Far From Heaven. This is actually a Kino release. This comes from my family's VHS collection. I know nothing really about the movie, except that this was actually nominated for quite a few Academy Awards, including Best Actress for Julianne Moore, so I'm curious about it. It was another VHS that I just never touched, but seeing that it actually got a Kino release, I have enough interest to finally check it out. Also, there's another version of this Blu-ray on Amazon, and like I've said in the past, for some reason, when you look up the movies on Amazon, the Kino Blu-rays don't always come up right away, so you may not even realize that a certain movie has been released by Kino on Blu-ray. So always make sure to double check before you buy some out-of-print, really expensive copy of an obscure film. This is Doctor Strange. I feel like in a previous episode I bought the DVD from Shout Factory. In fact, I mean, it's right over here. Yeah, here's the DVD of Doctor Strange from Shout Factory. It didn't have any special features at the time, but it was a way to get the 70s pilot that was considered a made-for-TV movie, and was the first iteration of Doctor Strange. It didn't end up really going anywhere, and the only way it's really remembered nowadays is because Shout Factory finally released it on DVD. Well, they did this specialty Blu-ray here, and I was like, you know what? I'm trying to have a complete Marvel Blu-ray collection, so I'm going to upgrade, even though it's a bit pricey to just do an upgrade for Blu-ray for a movie that I don't really care for. It's not something I'm really trying to seek out. But what's interesting is that this did crazy with the pre-orders. In fact, Shout Factory, because this was going to be a limited run for the Blu-ray, they actually got more orders of it just because it had sold out that fast. So if you go to the website right now, they might still have some other copies available if you're trying to get this on Blu-ray. But what's awesome is that they actually do have some special features on here. An audio commentary. That's really it, but I mean, it's better than the DVD. So, and then I actually have some Criterions here. This comes from the Half Price Bookstore. I don't normally see too many Criterions there that I'm interested in buying, but here's Love Affair. This was recently released on Blu-ray by Criterion, so someone must have bought it, brought it to Half Price Bookstore right away. And hey, you know, even at Half Price Bookstore, they're a bit pricier than the other Blu-rays, but for Criterions, they're still a good price and an easy way to get them right there and then. And then here is Broadcast News, another one that I didn't know much about until William Hurt recently passed away. This movie was brought up a lot, so to see there was a Criterion at the Half Price Bookstore, I figured this would be the best way to finally give it a watch. Hell, it has Albert Brooks and Holly Hunter as well, so I mean, you can't really go wrong with a cast like that. Super excited to give that a watch. The Blomkamp 3. So this includes District 9, Chappie, and Elysium. And I don't know if I've ever seen this specific release in the past, but it's really cool that there's these pages in here about the making of the films, and then of course history movies included. So I've seen Elysium and District 9. I never got to Chappie, and for some reason I didn't own any of these movies on Blu-ray because I liked them. I did like Elysium, and District 9 many years ago I saw it. I think I saw it when it first came out, but I remember loving it, really digging that movie. I never got to Chappie, but you know, I think it's time that all of these get another watch. This is probably the coolest thing I found there, but I'm a big fan of Michael Jackson's Thriller. I've tried to find the music video on Laserdisc before. I don't remember if there was a Laserdisc release, but basically it's pretty tough to find a physical media version of Thriller. The DVD that was included with a CD a couple years ago went out of print. It's very expensive online. The one I found on eBay was like $100. So there might be other releases of Thriller out there, but I did find this VHS that has the making of Michael Jackson's Thriller. It's apparently an hour-long documentary and has the music video, as well as a couple other things in here. So I thought this is super cool. This was actually in the locked case of items, so ooh, we don't want anyone sneaking out with this. I paid that price to get this VHS because that's how big of a fan I am of Thriller, and I figured this is probably going to be the only way I'm actually going to get Thriller on home media without paying crazy prices. So I know I can watch the music video in better quality on YouTube, but the documentary, I don't know if that's ever been released again on any other form, so I'll have to do some research on that. But regardless, this was pretty awesome to find. I mean, the VHS cover art alone, it's so fun, it's so cool. The Star Wars THX Widescreen Edition. This was released in 1995, the last time they were going to release these films before they did the special edition upgrades. I'm sure you've read this back before. If you've seen these releases in the past, often you'll find the full screen versions. I own the full screen versions. I've never had the box for them, but I have each individual full screen release from 1995. But I have looked at this set before, and it was really cool to actually find this in person at the Half Price Bookstore. And luckily, yes, it is the widescreen version of each film. So super awesome. I'm sure you've seen a lot of this before, and hell, I've had many Star Wars purchases on this show in the past, so this isn't anything new. I've had many different versions of Star Wars, but I was gonna pass it up, but then I realized, I'm like, you know what? I own the widescreen version of the 1997 films. I own some widescreen Laserdiscs of the films before a lot of the changes were done, but every release of Star Wars has had slight changes, you know, mostly to the sound up until 1997 when they did major special effects changes. So here, this is the only way to watch the film in widescreen, the 1995 editions anyway. There are probably Laserdiscs though, so if I ever find a Laserdisc copy of the 1995 version, maybe I would get it if it was widescreen, but I thought this VHS set was cool alone, and I couldn't pass up the fact that it actually came in the box set, so super awesome to find. And last but not least, I've said many times before, I skip Laserdisc. I will look through them, but I will most of the time skip them unless it's an obscure film that's tough to get on Blu-ray, or if it's something that is one of my favorite films. Well, Aladdin is one of my favorite films, and this set is awesome. I did not know that this cover art existed for Aladdin on Laserdisc. This is the letterbox edition. I think I've seen the full screen edition before. Here's that spread in here. Always love these Laserdisc spreads, because sometimes they're really cool, but sometimes, like with here, they have just these random image of Jafar, random image of Abu, and you know, if you kind of look at Aladdin's face here, someone did a quick scribble job there, I don't know. But it's super cool, and here's the back, which I'm sure if anyone has the VHS, they're well aware of what the back kind of looks like. But this cover art alone, I'm like, this is something that I would love to get framed. You know, get one of those, like, frames for vinyls. It would be cool to get that for this and hang it somewhere. If I can ever, you know, find a different way to redesign this room in the future, that's how I would do it. So, super happy to get this, super cool. And that's all I have for this week, so thanks for watching. Thanks for watching the video, and special shout out to Lauren, Anthony, Anna, Kirsten, Spencer, Lucas, Ryan, and Robert for supporting me on Patreon. By joining my Patreon, you can get exclusive blogs and videos, and for just $7, you can get your own monthly movie review. I hope you stick around, cinephile, and have a happy, productive day.